Hello, all. My name is Tiffany Johnson, and you are all new here, so welcome. Now, let's get into episode one: high functioning depression. Let's start off with a verse from Psalm 34:18, the NIV or New International Version, which says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." If any of you have recently seen the Breakfast Club interview with Judith Joseph, you might have recently learned about high functioning depression. For me, sometimes that's when I wake up not really wanting to do anything. I typically get up between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., sometimes earlier. Sometimes I just sit there and say, I don't really feel like going into work. I don't really feel like doing anything. And I work remotely. So I literally just have to roll out of bed and roll to my laptop. But for some of you, that could just be waking up wanting to scream, being childless for a day, going on vacation, or just taking a mental break where your mind stops overthinking or running a mile per minute. It can be a variety of different things. For me, I say high functioning depression is I'm not going to be homeless, but I'm not okay. And it's always okay to not be okay. For all of us, it might seem as if you need a break, and that's rightfully so. You should be able to take your rest when you need to. For some of you, it needs to be structured. And for some of you, is actually doing the thing that you said that you wanted to do, being obedient and consistent. High functioning depression can look like so many different things. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say, I need a break. It's okay to want to live in your soft air. It's not going to always look the same for everyone. You're going to have to release your expectations. You're going to have to say, you're going to have to give yourself some grace. You're going to hear that a lot on this podcast because I always tell myself when I'm my worst critic and I'm the hardest on myself. I give a lot of people grace and I always forget at points to give myself grace. For me, depression can also look like overspending, not following through, or procrastinating, pretending that I'm something that I'm not, or wanting to be in a certain place and not being there. For me, I have never been the type of person to not implement something that I want to do. It doesn't always look the way that I wanted it to look or go the way that I planned or happen at the time that I wanted it to happen. But I always make a plan and I always follow through. I look at that and say, yet I am still not in the financial place that I want to be. And yes, everything is implemented, but it's not producing what I wanted to produce so that I can live this glorious life of my dreams. And that's just a realistic and open statement for how I feel on a day to day basis. Yet, I will not stop. I will not give myself an excuse to not apply for that job or to not create a new Faces YouTube channel like Prayer Notes. But I will feed my creativity. I will give myself time to rest, to pray, to be considerate of others, to pour into others when it's time to, and to give myself grace as much as possible. When I look through some of my prayer notes, high functioning depression could be consistently going to therapy, or it could be going to work, getting a promotion, learning a new skill, enrolling in another degree course, which is something that I have done in shameful plug. I am on master's degree number 2. But as I said before, this is it. And I hope so that it is. We will see. But celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate the small wins, and take time for yourself. High functioning depression, it's so many ways to be hard on yourself and to think that just because you're not where you want to be, at least not where you want to be in your brain, because you're exactly where you want to be in God's house and God's plans. And sometimes it means fellowshipping with like minded individuals. You're going to have to find a way to bring your peace, to get centered in a way. For me, it's creating. So you will see maybe even impromptu podcasts or channel uploads, because when I feel it, I'm going to record. Creating my avatar takes me maybe 10 to 20 minutes whenever it generates. And then I can literally press record and start talking to you all. It won't be a polished structure or a one size fit all approach to how these channels how it will drop on these channels, and how these, I call it a podcast, but it'll just be me talking to you all about how I'm feeling and giving you a verse or two so you can kind of bring it back to reality. And I want you all to know that you're not alone. However you feel is valid. And it's okay to say I'm not where I want to be. It's okay to say I need to focus and I need to apply what I'm learning. I need to actually follow through. I need to be consistent. I need to create a plan. I need to actually implement that plan. But it's also okay to say, I need to rest. And you have to give yourself grace to say, not every day requires you to do something. Stillness is fine. Sitting down and doing nothing is fine. Waking up, cleaning your house, and getting back in bed is okay. But having a plan to not only physically progress, but to mentally progress, whether that's taking time out to listen to an audible book or physically read a book, make your highlights, make your margin notes. It's up to you, but you have us here on Prayer Notes. And please feel free to leave in the comments how your high functioning depression looks, or how your depression looks, period. Sometimes it's feeling guilty about motherhood. Sometimes it's feeling guilty about fatherhood. Sometimes it's postpartum in any form, any stretch of the imagination. Sometimes it's PTSD for those of you in the military, or having to be raised in an environment that's just not conducive to your growth. And that can be any imagination. You can grow up rich or grow up poor, or grow up in a hood, or grow up in middle class, whatever you feel. It's a version of trauma there. But with that said, my name is Tiffany. I want you to know that you are not alone. Your feelings are valid. And this is episode number 1, High Functioning Depression. And I hope to see you all again with your versions of how you are relinquishing the fear, giving yourself some self-care, and progressing in life, and understanding that you are right where you're supposed to be. And for that, this is episode 1. See you all next time.
Yeah.